ride on an interview with an interesting person. Jynell Veverka with your host, Kevin Schoen.
Yeah! All right. Now, yeah! Before we got started, I had extreme issues.
It was
saying
hilarious.
Jynell's name. We've been practicing for many. Jynell Veverka.
You did it.
Yes!
Good job.
Right.
You had 2 more tries.
Right.
Or else I would...
Bam!
The
She was
snipers
out
would
of
come
here.
in, and then, I was going to take your car and just go party.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I hear you're a sword fighter. Ah, really? Yeah.
Yes. What would you like to know?
Just about everything. So, is there a particular type of sword that's your favorite?
So, I am a part of a group that practices HEMA, which means Historical European Martial Arts.
Really?
And my favorite is the two-handed longsword.
The two-handed longsword?
Yes.
Which is a rather hefty weapon.
It is hefty. It does quite a lot of damage.
Really?
Especially plus 26. Maybe a little negative damage, depending on if you hit it with a false edge.
In Dungeons and Dragons parlance, perhaps.
Perhaps.
So tell me about this. So you get in, you this group, they have swords, and you have armor.
We don't have armor.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
So
is it like fencing or?
It is fencing.
Okay.
So one name that you can call it is a soft shirt fencing, where we will wear heavy coat like we call them gamazons.
Gamazons.
And then you'll have your fencer's mask.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll wear elbow protection, knee protection, giant gauntlets. They could be made of either plastic or some kind of metal, leather. Mm-hmm. And then we will actually use these historical manuals written from the 13th through 17th centuries.
Yep.
And there's different types. There's a German style, there's Italian, there's English.
So does everybody like specialize in their own, like, I'm going to be an English style?
We certainly have our favorites.
Okay, yep.
I get made fun of because I am a Furiist.
A Furiist?
And now I am amongst German Meyerists, so they're trying to convert me into being Meyer.
Where is a Furiist swords person from?
Where are they from?
Yeah,
they're
like
from
Furious.
Wherever they want to be.
Oh, really?
But Fiore is an Italian.
Oh, it's an Italian,
Yeah,
I
it's
see.
Italian.
Okay. And so do you guys kind of like all together say, okay, we're going to play German style this time? Or we're going to go Furious style?
It depends on the club.
Okay.
And then what we'll do is we'll get these manuals, and they'll be translated from whichever language they've been written.
Oh, really?
And they'll have these really fun illustrations, and then we just try to depict and decipher what these techniques mean or what they stand for. And then we'll use them as a martial arts setting.
Okay.
And we will do sparring, and we'll actually even do tournaments as well, all across the country, even the world.
So you're studying 15th century or 14th century, 13th century texts in order to ascertain how these people, how folks in Italy fought.
Yes.
And you're like, I think they were doing it this way. Let's see if that works.
And they'll say, okay, here is one play. You come to a bind. Once you come to a bind, you
twist,
lessen up, and then you grab the sword and hit the person in the stomach, and this is called play whichever number. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it'll get you killed.
Interesting. So there's entire manuals and books out there. Well, one would expect hundreds of thousands of years of sword fighting. There must have been somebody who wrote it down and was like, this is how we think it should be done.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Interesting. And so it was a two-handed longsword predominant in Italian Furists?
There's a lot
fighting?
of single-handed weapons. So as most people are familiar with is the rapier, which you would find in The Princess Bride.
Right.
And that tends to be a lot of people's preference. But there is also a sword and buckler, which is you have the sword in one hand and you have a shield in the other.
Right, right.
There is also staff fighting, where you have a very long staff, or you can buy the stick at Home Depot and practice with that.
Yep.
There's the, as I said, the two-handed longsword. There's also a great sword, or the montante, which is a giant sword used for clearing large crowds.
So did
during
you have
battle.
like, after you do this, do you have like all kinds of bruises or bloodied up? Or
That's the whole point.
That's the whole point.
That's the
just
whole
to
point.
Beat the heck out of each other, huh?
You have your honor bruises that you post on Facebook and see, look what so-and-so gave me. This is so fun. Yes!
So I hear you ran off to go study this tell me that story. How did you get into this?
Well, once upon a time, I was a peasant farmer girl.
Yeah, okay.
And I was growing my potatoes and beans like a good girl,
Right,
selling
of course,
them at
yes.
farmers markets so I can have money to buy new clothes.
Mm-hmm, yep, critical, yeah.
And then one day I met a certain fella who I learned was an instructor in sword fighting. I said, that's kind of cool. I'm interested in learning this. And then,
yeah.
And then one day I just decided I am going to leave Michigan. I'm going to go to Colorado and I'm going to learn how to be a sword fighter.
Well, peasant farmers, they don't have a...
Well, I need to learn how to protect my own.
Right, of course, yes.
So when the raids come...
Right. I mean, is this, I'm not saying we're preparing for any apocalypses here or anything like that. We should. Critical, yes. Yes. And so you moved to Colorado and you started...
And I became a national sword fighter. I traveled across the country. I did tournaments in Arizona, Chicago. Mm-hmm. There was a Las Vegas thing that happened. There was a Oklahoma thing that happened. Just solely just to meet strange people and participate in friendly duels with them.
Really? Do you have, is there any scoring mechanisms? Tell me about the scoring mechanism.
Yep. So, think of it as like a strange football.
Right.
Because you have these individuals in heavy gear just clashing at each other, and it depends on where your sword strikes. If you get them in the head, that's a certain number of points. If you get them in the torso, a certain number of points. If you both hit each other at the same time, that counts.
Like
and you'll have
fencing in many
judges
ways,
around
yeah.
you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And each one, they'll say, I saw so-and-so hit the other person.
Interesting.
But most importantly, I just have fun with it.
Right.
I haven't won anything yet, but...
What's the name of the club?
Right now I'm with the Lansing Longsword Guild.
The Lansing Longsword Guild.
Come join us. Come hit us.
All right. And what's the best way to find them, on Facebook or something like that?
Yeah, just look for Facebook or find me on Facebook, and then you'll get all the info through there.
Cool. Sounds great. Well, thank you, Jynell. We really appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks for having
Jynell
me.
Veverka.
Veverka.
Sword fighter.
Absolutely.
In charge.
Yay.
Awesome. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it. Well, that's our show for today. This is Interview with an Interesting Person. I'm Kevin Schoen, and we had Jynell Veverka today. Veverka.
Yes.
Great.
Yes. It's going to burn in your memory now.
Burn in my memory.